What's up, friends, countrymen, fellow degenerates? I am smoking Jason Token. This is Bobby Light with his hot parlays coming in this week, baby. We're gonna get this party started for you off week three here at run it back. Yep. What's up, friends, countrymen, fellow degenerates? I'm Jason Smoking Token. This is Bobby Light. Welcome to your next episode of Bets and Buds. We're the Buds casting you the bets. Casting you the bets here. What do you want to do with us this week here? Smoking Token parlays have been hitting. That's why you see the celebratory cigar.
Oh,
that
congratulations,
celebratory cigar,
brother.
baby. 2 times this week. Celebratory cigar. Not your traditional cigar. That Smoking Token cigar. You know how I get down. You know how I get down. That hot shot parlay, baby. Hot shot parlay.
Good shit, baby. Good
Welcome to week 3. Welcome to week 3. We're going to enjoy ourselves and keep this parlay going, or this whole party going. I call it a parlay because I've been hitting that parlay this week. You know, man. I feel good about it. I feel good. Yes, I do.
You should feel good.
I do. I feel really good.
Every time you hit, you should feel good.
Plus 1,400 this week, going in this week, baby. 1,400 plus 1,400. My sledgehammer brother from another brother, Bobby Light.
Hey, let's stop.
What happened? I hear popping.
Because I didn't like that. Because I was fucking with the camera and was zoomed in on you guys like right here when you guys were talking.
Oh.
All right.
All right. Fuck you, Dave.
Hit the music, Bobby.
Oh, shit. It's my mom. I was like, well, that's the wrong music. Hi, Mom. Oh, I'm fine. Hey, I'm getting ready to shoot my podcast.
What's up, friends, countrymen, fellow degenerates? I am Jason Smoking Token. This is my partner, Bobby Light, for Bets and Buds. We are the Buds giving you the bets out here in these streets. We've had a great week this last week. My Smoking Token hot parlays have hit for 1,400. Let's see what we're going to do this week, baby. Welcome to join us, my sledgehammer brother from another mother. What's up, Bobby Light?
How you doing, Jason?
I'm chilling these streets, baby. Chilling these streets. Ready to get this party going this week here. We got these bets going live action. Live action. We've had some crazy shit going on this week on week 2.
Oh, that was a crazy week last week.
Oh, it was a
Crazy week.
real crazy week this week.
I did not like it at all.
Oh, yeah. You had a rough one, Bobby. You had a rough one. The Giants failed you.
Oh, the Giants
failed you.
Failed me. I guaranteed a pick last week, and it did not hit. And I apologize for that. If anybody listened to me.
Oh, you know what? Fuck it. They were losing 20-0. 20-0 at halftime. And they came back and won, so they hit my Smoking Token hot parlay at 850, baby. 850. That was my one big money hit that I had to hit with that 850 parlay, Smoking Token hot parlay.
I'm glad it went right for you, Jason. I'm glad it went right.
It went well. And I got another one last night on a sleeper boring game. And this is why you bet these games sometimes. I would have gave a fuck about the Steelers and the Browns last night whatsoever had I not had George Pickens score a touchdown. Steelers to cover. Steelers to hit the money line. Plus 617.
Pulled it off.
If that hadn't happened, I would not have enjoyed myself at all watching that game. That was a boring, awful, miserable game. But T.J. Watt getting that touchdown.
You ought to send him a thank you card.
Oh, man. You know what?
Well, Hayward's the actual one that made that play happen.
Yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful expedition. From a gambling standpoint.
It was.
You know, so what we're looking at here, we got this week, we're going to start and full dive into this slate here, this week here. Bobby, I'm going to let you be our fantasy guru this week because I really haven't fucked with that this week. I've been still basking in my glow of Smoking Token hot parlays. So, I'll let you get your Bobby Light red light special when you're ready to do that. But you're going to be my fantasy guru this week since you're the two-time champion.
Two-time
champion on our bar league. It's a 14-team league. You know I call it the kiddie pool, but it still can make you some money out here in these streets. Still can make you money out in these streets. So, the first game we got off the slate is the Giants and 49ers. What do you like on that one, Bobby?
I don't like the Giants. I know that. No, I like the Giants to cover in that game. For as much as they disappointed me last week, that's still the Giants. They're going to play tough. 10.5 is a lot of points.
That's a lot of points. So I have them through FanDuel going at 10. And so, but either way, 10.5, I still like the Giants to cover that game. I can see that be a 6-point finish by the end of it all. So for me, I like the Giants to cover that as well.
I like Giants cover. San Francisco on the money line.
Yes, definitely.
And I think the under's going to hit in that game.
Under? Yeah, you know what? I'm with you on the under. I had 44.5. What is DraftKings giving you?
45. I got
45? Okay, so FanDuel's giving 44.5. But either way, I like the under on that aspect.
So we're in agreement on that.
Yes, absolutely. So that's my first one to kick off the party. I like that. That's usually a good sign. It's usually a good sign.
Your fantasy play this week, I can't believe he's still going off this low. It's 5,800 for Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy at 5,800. I like that against the G-Man.
Yeah, against the G-Man.
Oh, I like that. I like
Dobbs
that.
just went diced him up.
Oh, he diced him up, and he just came off the streets. He was a guy. He was a guy that didn't even have a job really, essentially, until he got that job with the Arizona Cardinals.
So if you're looking for a low quarterback play in that game, particularly 5,800 for Brock Purdy.
Nice. I like that.
Less than Jones, even.
Less than Daniel Jones?
Less than Daniel Jones.
Really?
Yep.
Really? Yeah, well, I wouldn't put Daniel Jones in my lineup against that 49ers defense. No way in hell.
No, not this week.
No way in hell. So next slate up, what do we have here? We have the Tennessee Titans and the Cleveland Browns.
My bad, guys.
Either way, so we got the Tennessee Titans, Cleveland Browns. So for me, I have the Browns favorite. I have the Browns favorite at 3-point favorites.
Yep.
So for me, I'm going to take the Browns because I think they got a get back game here. They lost an ugly game against the Pittsburgh on Monday night. It's a game at home now. I like the Browns.
The two defensive touchdowns against, I mean, the Browns probably should have won that game. But, I mean, you throw an interception on a tip pass on the first play of the game. Like, that really puts you behind.
The Browns be the Browns.
Sometimes
the Browns be the Browns. And so for me, I'm going to take the money line on that game, though, too, as well, because I like the Browns to actually win that outright.
I like the Browns to win that game. I like Tennessee to cover, or they get the 3.5 points.
All right, so you have 3.5. So I have 3.
You've got 3.
Yeah, I have 3.
3.5 on FanDuel right now.
And this is early in the week though too as well.
It
This
is
early in the
early
week. So we might do a little revised pick on that aspect. But right now, coming at 3, I'm going to take the Browns on that at 3.
You like them to cover that one?
Yes, I like the Browns to cover that.
At 3, I'll take Tennessee at the 3.5, and then I like the over at that one. I got it at 41.
You got it at 41. I had it at 40. I'll take it at 40. I'll take it at 41. Either way, I like the over. Either way on either side of that. Either way on either side of that, I like 40 at that. 41.
So you like the Browns to cover, and I like Tennessee.
Absolutely.
As far as that game goes in a fantasy standpoint, it's Jerome Ford with Chubb going out and ruining his knee like that, and I feel so bad for
that.
Chubb.
Was an ugly. Thank you, ESPN, for not showing us. Thank you, ESPN, for not showing us, and I'm so glad I'm not ingrained on the internet over and over because they showed that shit.
Oh, did they?
Oh,
I didn't
man.
look for it.
Like, I had to get off of Twitter, the formerly artist's Twitter, now X. Like, I had to get off of that because they showed it over and over again on that aspect. Okay. Over and over again. All right, so next up, I got the Chargers and the Vikings. Chargers and Vikings. What do you like on that one, Bobby?
Chargers and Vikings.
These are two loser teams.
Yeah, no,
these are two loser teams that you don't want to go for in any aspect if you had to bet on them. If you asked me to touch this game, I'm going to tell you right now, I would not touch this game to bet my life.
With your own actual money?
No, hell no. Hell no. I would not touch this. But if I'm going to give you my expert position, I'll tell you where I'm going to go. Like for me, I would go with the Chargers. They're 1.5 point underdog.
Really?
Yes.
You like the Chargers in that
one? Only because I can see them outscoring the Vikings. The Vikings defense has given me no confidence they can do anything productive at all this season.
That's the Chargers defense, in my opinion. I mean, look what Tennessee did to them. Like, whoa.
But then I go Justin Herbert, Kirk Cousins, Brandon Staley, Kevin O'Connell. So that's my tiebreaker. In that game, that's my tiebreaker in that game, is those two guys in those two positions, which is the most important positions when you come to football and bet the game on Sunday.
Right. Okay, so you like the Chargers on the money and obviously getting the points there.
Absolutely.
So I'm in total opposition. I like Minnesota to cover and win that game. At home, Minnesota needs a win. Like, they've got to have a win.
The Chargers do too. They're 0-2.
I know. Well, they're not going to win that division.
So no, they're not going to win a division.
Minnesota could still win their division.
I know, but it's the Vikings.
It is
the Vikings. That's my biggest problem when it comes to the Vikings, because when you got talking about the Vikings, there's certain people that I've always told why I put the stamp of loser on the Vikings. Only because from a gambling standpoint, it's not about fandom. It's about winning and losing.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was the fans, Neil.
Oh, shout out Neil. Shout out Neil. Sorry about it. I asked you the other night, how do you keep doing this to yourself? How do you keep doing this to yourself? Love you, brother, but at the end of the day, I can't ride with these Vikings. Okay. They've only won one bet for me one time, and I had a parlay on a Thanksgiving night. They came out when they beat the Patriots on the Thanksgiving night. Outside of that, I don't ride with the Vikings whatsoever.
No, what do you like in the over-under on that?
Over-under, I like the over.
I like the over.
I like the over. 53.5. Okay. I don't have any confidence in any defense to shut anybody down. 53.5. I like that.
Okay.
All right.
As far as the fantasy standpoint goes, Addison is just 2 games, 2 scores so far in his rookie season. Like, we might be creating some rift between Jefferson and him if Jefferson don't start getting some touchdowns.
Oh, he might be upset. That's the only reason why I think it could be a Justin Jefferson weekend, but he's probably going at like 7,900.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he's 8,100. Addison's going off at 55.
Oh yeah. So at 55, I like that juice. The juice is worth the squeeze on that.
Oh, yeah.
Juice is worth the squeeze, definitely for sure. So
what game you got next, Jason?
I got the Patriots and the Jets.
All right.
Those lowly Jets. Oh, those Jets. Jets. Who do you got? Who do you like for that?
I like the Jets in this one, actually. I do. That defense, I mean, yeah, they went up against Dallas, and if Zach Wilson didn't put them in such a hole early with the 3 picks, but give me the Jets to win outright at home.
Okay.
To cover the spread. Or actually, they're getting 3 on this one, according to me. And I'll take the under in that one.
You like that under?
Yeah.
So I'm on the opposite on both sides. So what I got them at through FanDuel is at 2.5.
Okay.
FanDuel has them at 2.5 right now. At least what I had earlier today, but we're gonna change that later on. I'm sure. Like this is very early in the week. Injury updates still got to be put in place. But I like the Patriots because I think Bill Belichick. Remember when Sam Darnold played them and he said, "I saw ghosts."
Yeah.
Sam Darnold's a way better quarterback.
Yeah, he's better than Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson. Way better quarterback than Zach Wilson. So I think if he made Sam Darnold see ghosts, Zach Wilson might see dead people.
I think it's more for me, maybe this is wishful thinking, but man, I want to see New England start 0-3.
I do, but
that would be a beautiful thing.
I just don't see Bill Belichick going down to
probably
Zach Wilson. I don't. So for me personally, I got them
disagreement on
this.
This
so I got them covering. I got the money line for the Patriots, both sides there, but the under. The under is where, so we're in agreement on the under. We're in agreement on the under, for sure.
Okay. As far as that game goes, Breece Hall is still only going off at 5,600.
Oh, I like that.
The same price as Dalvin Cook is at 5,600.
I like that.
And if you look at their stat, like Breece Hall's been the far better running back.
Oh,
so
yeah.
far.
By far, it hasn't even been close.
And 5,600's a cheap price for somebody that's going to put up 100 and a touchdown.
Yeah, for daily fantasy, I love that. I love that pick.
5,600's a
Absolutely,
great price.
Absolutely. All right. So next up, we go down on the slate. We got the Texans and Jaguars. What do you like on that one, Bobby?
Oh,
it's in Jacksonville.
Yeah, it's in Jacksonville, and I mean they played poor. They played poor last week. That's the only way you can describe that. 3 field goals is just not gonna get it done.
But was it poor because Chris Jones was back?
Yeah,
and Chris Jones is a game disruptor.
He was. Not on the field every snap, though. So when he was out of the game, they had their opportunities to take advantage, and they just didn't.
My inside story on that one, if he had not held out during training camp, he was my little sleeper pick to be Defensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, not MVP. That's a hard thing for Defensive Player of the Year. But Defensive Player of the Year, that was my inside sleeper pick. So he changed that game tremendously. So for me, I have the Texans to cover that because I have right now.
I like Texans to cover that. 8.5 is what I've got it going off.
Yeah, you got 8.5. That's probably what's going to come down to. Probably by the end of the week, it's going to probably be more like 7.5, maybe 7 even. But 7.5 to maybe 7 even.
It's a division game.
Yeah.
They're going to play them tough. Houston does not look awful so far.
No, they have to put C.J. Stroud has to kind of get the offensive scheme together. They have to put everything in place for him to get things going. Dameon Pierce has not gone off at all.
No, their running game is really hurting.
No, but Jacksonville is a team that you can run on.
Yes,
if you have the patience to run on them, and Houston has no reason to not have the patience to run on them. That should be a big go on that aspect. So for me, no matter what, 8.5, 9.5. Even if they go to 7, if they drop to 7 at the end of this week,
I'll still take that.
I'm still going to take Houston to cover that one. I still want it, but Jacksonville obviously on the money line.
Win the game.
Yeah, Jacksonville's going to obviously on the money line. What do you like over?
I like the under in this one.
You like the under?
I like the under. What do you got?
See, I went the over.
It's 44 for me.
You got 44. I went 43.5 is what I
43.5.
had. 43.5. Either way, I like the over. I like the over because I think from an over standpoint, I think that's going to be a very like somebody's going to get some defensive touchdowns. There's going to be some mistakes that are going to be made in that game. So
yeah, I mean Stroud's probably good for a pick or two.
he might be good for a pick or two. Fumble somewhere somewhere in the place of the game. There's going to be a fumble. Like special teams touchdown, somewhere in that range. I could just see that being that type of game, especially a division rivalry game. There's a lot of tape, a lot of film for them to study, to go off of. They can pick up some like type of big play action on that aspect.
Yep. Okay. As far as daily fantasy in that game, Nico Collins is still only going off at 5,300. And he's an obvious safety valve for Stroud so far.
Oh, and I like Nico Collins.
Yeah, no, he's going to be a good wide receiver. Everybody's saying Tank Dell this week. Tank Dell. That was one game. Collins has done it twice.
Yeah.
Now, so.
Nico Collins is he's a solid pro. Like even when they've had bad quarterback play, Nico Collins always seems to stand out somewhere film-wise when he's on the field. So I like that. That's a good pick. All right, so next up we've got the Buffalo Bills and the Washington Commanders. Washington Commanders. So for that game, what I had is 6.5 point favorites for the Bills.
I still have 6.5.
Yeah, 6.5 too as well. So for me, I like the Bills. I like the Bills to cover that. I think the Bills got a couple bounce back games. They got to get back into this division action. Obviously, they're going to cover the money line too as well if they get that.
I like how Washington's playing this year so far. Their defense is not great, obviously, if you're going to let Russell Wilson and the Broncos put up 33 points on you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Russell Wilson and the Broncos, but, I mean, let's see what happens there. I mean,
I like Washington to cover. You like the Bills, huh?
Yeah, I like the Bills to cover. I mean, I like the Bills to cover. I like the Bills, obviously, on money line. Over under at 44.5. What'd you have?
44.5, and I like the over.
I like the over on that one as well.
Okay, so we're different on the spread. You think the Bills will cover? I think Washington will cover.
Yeah. See, I just don't have faith because both games were dogfights for them. I think the Bills are a little bit more solid team. I think a little bit more solid coaching. I have a lot more faith in Josh McDermott over Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera seems like he's like kind of hitting the twilight of his coaching career.
He is for sure. But I think Bieniemy is he's put a little life in that offense.
He's put a stamp on the team. He's put a stamp on the team.
Sam Howell might be my streamer quarterback for the week.
Yeah. Okay. Is that one of your fantasy picks, or what do you got for the fantasy line this week?
He's sitting on my bench, but as far as my daily fantasy, Dotson's still going off at 49.
Johan Dotson. Nice.
Now, he scored 7 touchdowns last year in 12 games. Obviously, he's got 0 through 2 games so far. So he's going to score. And it could be this week.
And I like that, actually, because Terry McLaurin is going to get the draw from, what's his name? Xavier Howard. No, not Xavier Howard. It's, what's the guy's name? The corner.
Howard's on Miami.
Yeah, Howard's Miami. What's the corner's name?
Buddy, don't put me on the spot like that.
Oh, yeah, but either way, so we got Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, and then we got the corner. He's a top corner. He's a top corner coming out. I'm drawing a blank right now on this name, but either way, he's going to be on Terry McLaurin the whole game. Like, he's going to be a Terry McLaurin the whole game. Yeah. So I like Johan Dotson as far as the secondary, slide out the backfield, hitting some extra, I like that.
Samuel hasn't done much this year either. I mean, he's obviously your third wide receiver. And Logan Thomas always disappoints me. I don't know why I ever talk about
Curtis Samuel always disappoints you, too, as well. But actually, Logan Thomas took a big shot last week. I don't know if he's even playing.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, he took a big shot last week.
I was thinking in fantasy terms. Logan Thomas always disappoints.
Yeah, he disappoints you a lot, but he took a big shot last week, so I don't even know if he's playing for sure. So, so from that aspect, I think we got that game covered. So next up, we've got the Colts and the Ravens.
Okay. I like what the Colts are doing this year. I just think the Ravens are due this week. They just haven't played super well yet. I think they're going to demolish the Colts this week.
We got to see on the injury report where OBJ is this week because he left the game early with the ankle injury. So we got to see where he's at. But with the Colts, Anthony Richardson, he checked himself out of the game with a concussion.
He did.
But I feel like there's a very little drop off with Gardner Minshew. Very little drop off with Gardner Minshew. So from that aspect, I don't know. I mean, I think that's a big spread. We're looking at it. So I had 8.5.
I have 8.5.
You have 8.5 as well. I think the Colts will cover that.
You think they're okay?
Yeah, I can see that being a field goal to 4-point game somewhere in that range. But I still feel like the Ravens will win.
Okay, we're in agreement there. What do you got on the over-under?
I like the over, 44.5.
I like the over as well. I got 44, so I would even take the 44.5.
Yeah, even with the 44.5, I think that's what I like there. What do you like on the fantasy pick, Bobby?
Moss. Give me Moss in that one. He came off the injured reserve list last week, and he balled. You
know what? That's one of those that win you some big money on daily fantasy if he goes off because
It's
Zach?
5,500. I mean, it's still a little pricey as
Man, that's
far
so
as,
steep.
but he's their number one running back.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, he will be for this week. For this week.
Well,
I mean,
until I mean, for the next 2 weeks, let's say that until Taylor comes off the PUP list or whatever they're calling
who
it
knows
now,
what they're
but-
who knows what they're going to do with him in general? Because even then, I mean, there's still a lot of bad chemistry with the team and everything else. So we'll see what happens there on that aspect.
But
That's
yeah, give me Moss in that one.
you like Moss?
Yeah,
You
I
like Moss? Okay.
especially if Richardson doesn't play, because Minshew's
yeah.
not the runner. That
Yeah, I mean
Richardson is.
that's where you're going to see Moss. They get on the goal line. Anthony Richardson is going to be your guy to punch it in, but he's not in the game. You got Zach Moss to go in and punch it in. So yes, I like that. I like that, especially with Deion Jackson being kind of a flop, and he fumbled like 3 times already this year. So that's not going to be good.
No part of Deion Jackson.
No part of Deion Jackson at all. All right, so we're moving down the slate here. We're moving our way down. So we're at the Falcons and the Detroit Lions back in Detroit. Detroit's back at home. They blew their banner celebration or their whatever the celebration was for Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders. Like they flubbed that shit.
Detroit doing Detroit things.
Yeah, I know that's always the hard part for me to go with them too strong on that aspect. But I also can't go with Desmond Ridder. I also like I was not impressed with Desmond Ridder at all.
That's I mean, he did enough to get it done against Green Bay last week, but he's not a good quarterback.
No, he's not an NFL quarterback. That's what I would say. He's like one of those guys, if you took him out to a backyard game, and he's going to light your team to hell up in 7-on-7. But like when you're playing an NFL game and going through and trying to execute full offensive
Some of those
scheme,
passes are just...
they were bad. I mean, because you got Drake London, Kyle Pitts. These are some of the biggest receivers in the NFL, and there's no reason why you shouldn't be hitting these guys for big third down conversions, big touchdown conversions. And when you don't do that, that's a hard ticket for me to sell.
I feel bad for whoever drafted Pitts this year. We keep talking him up. Like his rookie season, great 1,000 yards receiving, or 1,000 yards, but that was with Matt Ryan as your quarterback, not Ridder.
Yeah, not Ridder at all. So for me in that game, though, honestly, so I've got to go Lions. Lions are at home. They kind of shit the bed last week against the Seahawks. So I got the Lions. They were 3-point favorites of what I had them.
I got 3.5.
3.5.
And that's why I went with Atlanta to cover that
spread. Oh, you put Atlanta to cover that?
Yep.
See, I can see this, honestly, for Detroit with their offensive scheme. I don't like that they lost David Montgomery last week to the thigh injury. We don't know how far he's going to be out of the game. But I do like the fact that they're going to be hungry and ready to go because they kind of gave that game away. If it wasn't if it wasn't for the defensive touchdowns, they had a chance to be back in there. I think they have a good enough defense where they can kind of slow down the running game because the Falcons are a one-dimensional team, and you can't be good. So this is where we'll find out if the Lions are a good football team or not, because you can't beat a good football team if you're one-dimensional.
Right.
And that's kind of where I feel in that aspect.
What's that?
All right. So from the Lions standpoint, I also feel like they're going to hit the money line. But I also think over under. What do you like on the over under, Bobby? 46 and a half.
The over in that one. I've got 45.5, but
like
46.5. I still like the over in that one. Then.
Yeah. Either way, I see that being a 48-point game, somewhere in that range, 25 or 28-24,
like that.
Somewhere in that range, 28-24, somewhere in that range.
I just think Atlanta's going to play a lot of close games this year.
Oh, I think so too.
Give me that 3.5.
Yeah. Okay. You like that? So you want Atlanta for the 3.5?
Yep.
Nice. All right. And who's your fantasy guy you like on that one?
Oh, in that one, give me Reynolds. Josh Reynolds is a baller so far this year.
See, I think
he's going off at 4,200.
4,200?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that because he had 2 touchdowns last week? Or 3?
No, it was two touchdowns last week.
Yeah, so Josh Reynolds, he's a good, especially for
everybody's
the value.
keying in on St. Brown right now because he was going at like 74. Reynolds at 42 with the potential to score touchdowns every week.
Were you that 2-time champion, Bobby? So I won't argue with you. 2-time championship. I won't argue with that at all in the fantasy aspect.
I looked at him. I didn't pick him up, but I looked at him.
Yeah, I mean, overall, that's going to be a tight game. That's one of those games from a gambling aspect. I would touch from a Detroit to cover money line aspect, right. But from an over-under, I probably wouldn't touch. Fantasy player, I don't know how many, anytime touchdown, that's kind of a random, I'd probably go like a Sam Laporta. That'd be one of those little random because
that would be a good.
That's like a Sam Laporta. That'd be one of those games I would go with in that aspect on that end.
Okay, that takes care of that game. What we got next, Jason?
Well, we got the Saints and Packers in Green Bay in Lambeau Field. Green Bay lost a tough one to those aforementioned Falcons earlier.
Yeah, they had no business losing that game.
And then the Saints won against those hapless Panthers.
But the Panthers kept it close. I mean, they really surprised me. But interesting tidbit: 10 games in a row, the Saints have not yielded 20 points yet. So, like, that defense has been playing well.
Oh yeah, I mean they've been playing well. That's I mean I can see that going
But
both
it is
sides.
the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, but it was the Panthers, and the Panthers' best weapon was Adam Thielen. Love Adam Thielen. I think he's a great football player, but he's not your number one receiver. When you got Adam Thielen as your number one receiver, Hayden Hurst is your top tight end. That's your best bet that you're going with on the offensive weapon standpoint. And Miles Sanders, you know, in a good offense, Miles Sanders is a good running back.
Yeah, with the Eagles, he was a good running back.
Yeah,
he's not going to be worth the money in Carolina.
No, not at all. Well, I mean, but they had to. They had to go what they can do in that aspect,
right.
and, like what they can shoot for. What they're hoping for, they lose enough games to get Marvin Harrison Jr. next year. But that's for another show. That's another show.
Okay, I like the Saints to cover and win in that game.
You like the Saints to cover and win? So
yep, I think they're going to go up to Green Bay. Like Green Bay, just like to let Atlanta do what they did last week. Like, it was sad. So give me the Saints this week.
Well, I have the Packers, and the reason why, it's early in the week. Christian Watson still could possibly play and make his season debut. Not only that, you also have the fact that Aaron Jones might be coming back off the injured list because the Packers' offense is extremely different. Because when he went
Dillon was a disappointment.
Oh, AJ Dillon. I mean, he's a 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I mean, that's pretty much what you're looking at when you got AJ Dillon in the backfield. But Aaron Jones is explosive, man. And as long as he doesn't have any hamstring injuries, any relapses or anything in that aspect, he's an explosive guy. And like when he went off with that hamstring injury, that was one of those like, a playoff game, he'd been back the next week.
Yeah, he would have been back.
He would have been back the next week. So I kind of see.
You like Green Bay?
Yeah, I like Green Bay, Green Bay on the money line. And because of the defenses, I like the under.
I like the under as well.
42.5 is what I had on the under. 42.5.
I got 43.5, but 42.5 is.
Yeah, either one. I like 42.5 on the under. I like that. I like that a lot.
And this one, as far as fantasy goes, give me Tony Jones Jr. He's been a touchdown vulture. Jamal Williams walked off the field last night.
Yeah.
So he's always hurt.
Oh, yeah.
He's always something with his hamstring or leg. So Tony Jones Jr., they get down the goal line. He's going to be your touchdown man. 4,500.
See,
if you're looking for a quarterback, though, give me Carr for 5,500.
Oh, okay, nice.
Still going off at 5,500.
Nice. And eventually those big plays are going to start hitting with some of those receivers. He's got a lot of weapons. A lot of weapons. And Tony Jones Jr. is a good play for this week because this is going to be his last week before he goes back to the practice squad when Alvin Kamara goes back.
Yeah, when Kamara
comes back, it's back to the practice squad. You go Tony Jones Jr. Notre Dame, love you. Shout out to Notre Dame. Tony Jones Jr. All right. So next up we have the Broncos and the Dolphins. Used to be one of those classic matchups back in the day. Classic matchups for the Broncos and the Dolphins. Used to be Elway, Marino. Used to be a classic matchup back in the day. So for some of you youngers, you don't know about that. But classic matchup here. So for me, I like the Broncos to cover that because it was at 6.5 is what I got them at.
I think Miami's going to cover that.
You like that?
6.5. I like Miami to cover that by a touchdown.
See, the one thing I think is they're going to like put a lot of Patrick Surtain Jr. on Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
Reggie Waddle's in the concussion protocol, so I don't know where he's going to be in that aspect. So that's where I can see him possibly like being able to cover that game. I see the Dolphins winning that game, so I have them on the money line.
The Dolphins on the money as well. What do you like for the over/under?
The over/under, I like 48.5 was the over/under that I got. What'd you get for the over/under?
48 on mine.
48. So I still like the over. Either way,
over
48 or 48.5. Either way, I like the over on that one.
You like Denver to cover, and we're in agreement on the other two.
Yeah. So
okay. As far as fantasy play goes, it's 3,900 for Marvin Mims right now.
Oh, okay.
3,900. He had over 100 receiving yards last week. I think Sean Payton really likes this kid.
Where'd Jerry Jeudy go?
Oh,
I mean, as far as is he playing this week? How much help does he have?
He played last week. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't play this. Nothing popped up on my roster news, anyways.
Yeah.
He was slow last week. 3 for like 35, I think. But yeah, give me Mims. Mims is a hungry rookie.
Nice.
And if you want a running back play out of that game, obviously Williams because Denver just doesn't have another running back that they're feeding at all.
Nah.
The volume is there, so
Yeah, the only thing that would scare me is how active Christian Wilkins will be in that game and eating up their middles. Because if he gets on the outside, yes, Javonte Williams is a very big play. I like those.
Right,
I like
right.
both of those calls. Good
Okay.
call, Bobby. All right. So next up down the line, we've got the Panthers and Seahawks. Panthers and Seahawks. So what do you like on that one, Bobby?
Oh, I like the Seahawks in this one. I like the Seahawks to cover. I like the Seahawks to win, and give me the over.
Okay. So I like the Seahawks to cover, Seahawks to win as well, and the cover on the over, and Panthers wise, I just don't see them having enough offense.
They just.
I mean, and there's gonna and what's gonna suck is because there's gonna be one of these weeks we're gonna go against the Panthers.
Right,
and
they're gonna win.
They're gonna get their win. They're
Yeah,
gonna
they're
get
gonna
it,
win.
but I just don't see it being this week. I don't see it being this week because the Seahawks have to win this week to keep pace with the 49ers. They have to.
The only thing I'd be, I mean, Seattle's defense is really bad too. Like maybe not as bad as Carolina, but I still think the over hits in that one.
I do too. I mean, you still got Bobby Wagner in the middle. You've got Quentin Diggs as one of the safeties. I mean, I think overall there's going to be a lot of play in that game as far as a lot of back and forth action. But I just don't think there's any way Carolina can score enough points whatsoever. All right, and so when we go through.
In that one, I like Hayden Hurst in that one for 3,800.
You don't like Chuba?
I do.
I
I love Chuba.
Yeah, Chuba. Yeah, so we decided it's Chuba. We
It's
decided it's Chuba.
Chuba.
Yeah, we decided it's Chuba.
It's Chuba. I love Chuba, but not in this one. Give me Hurst, 3,800.
Okay.
He's going to be the number one tight end in Carolina.
Oh,
this
yeah.
year.
Yeah, I mean,
nobody's taking that from him.
When they get to the red zone, that's pretty much
He's
where
their
they're going to go.
safety valve. I mean, he didn't
Absolutely.
do much last night, but obviously Thielen had a game. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and again, Thielen's only going to have so much of a game, so
Right,
we'll see
right.
what happens in that aspect there. So, so we covered that all the way through from money line spread over under fantasy aspects. So next up, we're coming up to the Bears and Chiefs in Kansas City.
Well,
Those lowly Bears. I told you about Justin Fields.
nah, you did.
What did I tell you about
told
Justin
me.
Fields? I told you, man.
I wasted a draft pick this
Oh
year.
my God! Like I've watched this kid from such a young level all the way up to where he's at in the pros right now, and it's the same fucking thing. It's the same fucking thing. They like he has the ball. He sees his read, and he just won't let it go.
That
Cannot pull
first
the trigger.
interception he threw in the fourth quarter when they're on the 6-yard line,
Oh,
like he
my
was
God.
staring right at the defender.
Oh my gosh!
And just like, here you go. They
It's
just chucked it right to him.
it's almost like it's not a physical thing by any means because the dude's built like a Greek god. He has the
talented.
arm strength. He
Yeah.
has everything else. There's a brain fart that goes on somewhere in his head that I've watched this dude have his entire career, even when he was in high school. Like because if you ever watched the QB1, shout out Netflix QB1, like that was a big indication of what he was as a quarterback going through. And then when I watched him go to Ohio State, it was the same thing.
Really?
The same thing over and over again. So when I watch the NFL, like you would think, okay, you do this as your living now. You have nothing but time. They say he's the first guy in the building, the last guy out, and he still makes these decisions. I can't keep going by that. I can't keep riding with it. I can't. So for me on that game, it was the Chiefs were 12.5-point favorites. Typically, I don't like the Chiefs to cover. I don't like.
No, because they're notorious for not covering.
In the early season, they don't cover much at all. But I just don't know how with Chris Jones being back and everything. I don't know where the Bears are going to
Where
get
the
their
Bears
points.
are going to go.
Unless Justin Fields decides I'm going to rush for 200 yards.
Right.
I mean, that's
Which
the only.
I'd be okay with that.
Which I know you would from a
I'd be
fantasy
okay with
standpoint. I know you would, but I don't see that like how there any way like possible it being a 14-point or less game without that.
Okay. Well, you like the Chiefs to cover that one, huh?
Which obviously is a money line too
I
as well.
had it at 13, and I actually like Chicago to cover. Man, that is almost 2 touchdowns. I just cannot.
I have a hard time with that one too. I do, but and you know what? In this new age NFL, I used to like shy away from that back in the old
Right.
days. But nowadays in this new age NFL, you can go with that really easily. And so I have the under. The under was 47.5.
I like the under as well. Obviously, Chiefs on the money line, but I'm gonna go with Chicago to cover that spread.
Yeah. You like Chicago to cover that?
I like Chicago to cover, Chiefs to win, and the under to hit.
Yeah, so that's what I got the under. 40, I had 47.5 on the under.
I had 48.
48.
47.
Either way, about the same thing. About the same. And again, this is early in the week, so we got a
Right.
lot of time to like have the adjustments on that one.
If you got to go with fantasy player in that game, Sky Moore only because he's cheaper than Tony.
And Sky Moore showed some flashes last week.
Yes, he did last week.
Tony showed a little bit of get back too as well, but Sky Moore showed some flashes last week of like where he was like, okay, I'm ready to step up. He's on my fantasy team, on one of my fantasy teams.
Sky Moore's going off at 44. Tony was going off at like 51.
Okay.
So, yeah. Give me the 700 point there. The $700 difference.
$700. Okay, so you got Sky Moore for that week?
Yep, Sky Moore.
All right. So we're getting close to the end of the slate here. So next one we have up is the Cowboys and Cardinals. Our Dallas Cowboys, who I called, I said we're going to be one of the best fucking defenses in the league this year. We'll see. It's early in the season. Hopefully have no injuries. Hopefully have no injuries.
Outside of the one we already had in preseason with the rookie linebacker.
Yeah, hopefully have no injuries. Outside of that, hopefully we get to go forward on that game. That's another big one, man. That's a 12.5 point spread.
Yeah, I got Dallas covering this one.
I do too. I honestly, I do. Like, I would feel foolish.
They're not going to have a repeat of the Giants.
And not only that, where are the Cardinals going to get their points? Because Mike McCarthy is not going to let Dak Prescott throw 2 pick sixes.
No.
Like, unless there's like a fumble, special team, something flukish that happens in that aspect. There's just not, I don't see that happening. That's why Mike McCarthy said, if I'm going to get fired, you're going to fire me for my fucking shit. You're not going to fire me.
So I know where this was. We got Dallas covering, Dallas on the money, and I've got the over.
Oh, yeah, yep. You round up on that one.
Check.
We'll check the spreads later on that week. Do a little quick like follow me on Twitter, X, that type of thing, whatever else, Facebook, whatever you want to look to. I'll give you some updated spreads and see. Don't forget to like and subscribe too as well. You like and subscribe, we'll make sure that we get you out there with the updated picks. Because last week, like I said, was a very profitable week for us. We both have hit at about a 56 to 54% clip winning percentage right now. Already starting off the season off when we don't know shit about anything. But we will know more really soon. And the more information we calculate, the more we're going to get you those winners for you, baby. All right, so then, like, who do you like for fantasy this week?
Give me in that game, it's Zach Ertz right now, all day long. 3,500 on the daily fantasy. He's got 18 targets in 2 games, 12 catches. Like Zach Ertz, he's going to be Dobbs's.
He's been eating. He's been eating.
So give me Zach Ertz, 3,500.
Yeah, he's been eating. So I like that a lot. A whole lot. All right, so next up, we've got the Steelers and the Raiders. That is a Sunday night game. The Sunday night ticket, baby. The Sunday night ticket. The Steelers and the Raiders. Steelers came through with me with one of those smoking token hot parlays last night, baby. They won, covered the spread, hit the money line at George Pickens score at 617. Put me up at a nice little juicy 700 hit, baby. I love that. So I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to ride with the Steelers again. I got to ride with the Steelers again in Vegas. The Steelers again. Yep. They're 2.5. They're 1.5 point underdogs.
I like Pittsburgh to win that game.
You like that one too?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so we're both going on that one. 1.5 point underdogs.
What do you like on the over under?
Oh, I like the over under there. The 43. I got to go under.
I got the under as well.
All right, I like this. So that's another one. We're probably about 5 games right now. We're pretty much matched up pretty even. Who do you like on fantasy, Bobby?
Give me Renfro. I don't know why they are not throwing to him right now. With Jacoby Myers out in the concussion protocol, he still only had 1 target last week. What is going on down in Las Vegas right now?
And not only that, Minka Fitzpatrick is not going to play this week.
I don't know. The Renfro is one of the top slot receivers in the NFL, like at least top 5 slot receiver in the NFL.
So if they get to the red zone, Minka Fitzpatrick is going to be out. And Josh Jacobs had -2 yards last week.
Yeah, I just
-2 yards.
I don't understand.
What is going on with the Raiders?
What's going on with the Raiders right now?
I mean, both of those teams though, but I like that fantasy pick. Definitely.
3,700.
All right, so we're getting down to the 2 Monday night doubleheaders. 2 Monday night doubleheaders here. So we've got the Eagles and the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield is 2-0, baby. The Philadelphia Eagles are 2-0. We got to see what that action is because you would think that'd be a gimme, but on paper, it sounds like a gimme. But I don't know, Bobby.
I've got Tampa covering in this one.
All right, you got Tampa. You know what? I got Tampa covering too as well. It's 5.5. I got 5.5. What do you got? 5.5. I like Tampa to cover that too as well.
Philly to win.
Yep, I like Philly to win. Here's why I have the Tampa covering because from Tampa's aspect defensively, Philadelphia is not going to be able to run the ball like they have been.
No,
and they've been relying on the pass. So if they don't hit any big pass plays from Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown, and I have a feeling they might try to force the ball to A.J. Brown because he was a little disgruntled this last week on the sidelines.
Well, Devontae Smith is just going crazy.
They call him Skinny Batman. Skinny Batman got his eat on, baby. Skinny Batman got his eat on this week. So A.J. Brown was not happy about that on the sidelines. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, so I I like the Buccaneers to cover. You like the Eagles to win. What about the over-under? What do you
like the under in that one.
What do you have in the over-under?
46.
I do too. Over in 46, you like the under?
Yep.
Oh, see, I like the over.
You like the over?
Yeah, I like the over. I like the over just because I can see things kind of getting a little nasty, things happening. Who knows what happens, Defensive touchdown, special teams, and you know how my rule is. Defensive touchdown,
Right. Well, that
special teams
changes
touchdown,
everything.
that
It really
kills
does
everything.
change everything.
And that's one of those games, either one of those teams can get one of those type of touchdowns.
Okay, as far as fantasy in that game, give me Baker Mayfield. 5,300. I'm going to give you a list of quarterbacks that he's actually playing better right now through 2 games. Josh Allen, Geno Smith, Brock Purdy, Lamar Jackson, Lawrence, and Prescott. He's got more fantasy points across the board than all of those quarterbacks. And they're all more expensive than him right now. 5,300 for Baker Mayfield.
You know what? And the Philadelphia secondary is kind of beat up too as well. So that's not a bad play. Not a bad play at all because that Philadelphia secondary is very beat up still. So because we don't know if we got Bradbury's back yet.
I don't like riding with Mayfield. He's disappointed me in the past, but
Yeah.
he's playing really well right now.
And his
maybe
daily fantasy.
He found something in Tampa Bay.
When you're playing in the kiddie pool, it's okay to go with Baker.
Maybe he found something down in Tampa Bay.
Who knows? You never know.
Some wide receivers.
Yeah, they got some wide receivers. Mike Evans is playing for money. That's what it is. Mike Evans, he was on a mission last week. Mike Evans was balling. Like, if you played Mike Evans in any daily fantasy, he went nuts last week. Went nuts last week. So the last game we have on the slate, this is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a tough one. This is one of those games I don't know if I would touch. And here's the reason why I wouldn't touch it personally is because of Joey Burrow is not healthy. I got the Rams and we got the Bengals in Cincinnati. Rams and Bengals in Cincinnati. No, but we got the Rams and Bengals in Cincinnati. That is the one game that I if I didn't want to touch, like if I would had a gun to my head and they asked me to put money on it, I'd have to say Bengals only because I can't see the Bengals going 0-3. But I'm worried about the offensive line. I'm worried about Joey Burrow and his injured calf injury. Like Aaron Donald, when I saw Geno Smith say, "Oh my God," watching Aaron Donald run to the field, and he was also even able to neutralize a lot of the 49ers offense last week. Aaron Donald, the reason why he makes $30 million a game is because he controls games. He controls games. He controls the middle. And if you could control the middle of the field in the NFL, oh my God, that changes games for any quarterback, and especially with Joe Burrow not being able to roll left to right, that kind of made me a little bit nervous. But
you still like Cincinnati?
I still like Cincinnati because I just in my brain can't process them to going 0-3. I can't process them to going 0-3. So they were 2.5 point favorites right now in Cincinnati. So I got them with the money line, and then the over under was at 43.5. I went over.
You went over?
Yes, I went over.
Give me the Rams to cover and win in that one.
You like the Rams to cover and win?
Cover and win.
What do you like on the over under?
I'll take the under in that one.
You like the under on that one, huh?
43.5.
43.5.
If it comes down at all, I might revisit that one.
You know what? I can see it. If anything, I can see it going down if Joe Burrow says, I'm out, or they say there's any type of injuries. I can see it go down to 41.5, somewhere in that range.
If Joe Burrow goes out, does that change your pick at all?
Oh, absolutely. It changed my pick for sure. Yeah. I mean, I definitely have to revisit that. That's why, again, like and subscribe. I'll show you how to fix that if that shit goes south. But if Joe Burrow is not in the game, that definitely changes things. But Joe Burrow is playing. Joe Burrow is going to play. You don't sit there with a Theragun on your fucking calf in the sidelines, and he's going to play that game, especially with them being 0-2. He just got the highest paid contract outside of when they just gave Patrick Mahomes what he gave him. But so before that, there's no way. Joe Burrow's got too much dog in him to say, I'm going to sit out when my team is 0-2 and not give us a chance to make the playoffs. Because when you when you go 0-3, your chance to make the playoffs drops so tremendously.
It's bad. But didn't the year they won went to the Super Bowl,
they were 0-2.
Oh, 0-2.
They were 0-2.
I thought they
didn't go 0-3. They went 0-2.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's one thing you have to kind of bank on in that aspect. Do you have a player from fantasy?
It's Puka all day this week.
Puka
Nacua still only going off at 5,400.
Puka Nacua, go Oos.
Still only 5,400. Now he set the NFL record for most catches in 2 games with 25. I don't see no reason for them to stop throwing to him.
His chemistry is almost like Cooper Kupp with Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp. I mean, honestly, it's crazy. I mean, he's fine. That dude is open all the time. Like every game that I've looked, when we sit there and I turn to the screen, I'm like, damn, this dude's always open.
It basically is Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I mean, he's like his new age Cooper Kupp, and Matthew Stafford, he's a dog, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all.
Give me Puka, 5,400.
I love it, baby. Well, that wraps up this episode of Bets and Buds. We're the Buds giving you the bets. I'm Jason Smoking Token.
I'm Bobby Light.
We enjoyed you guys visiting us with this week. Let's kick that party off. Week 3.